All right, we are back one more time for segment 3, and I'm going to start off the U.S. Open. I'm a huge golf fan, and I never miss a major. I never miss a lot of the tournaments, period. And what I'm watching right now, I've been watching golf religiously since 1992. It's 19 years, and what I'm seeing in the first 2 rounds of Rory McIlroy, I can say 97 Masters with Tiger, 2000 U.S. Open with Tiger, Christy Kerr a couple of years ago winning her major by a gazillion strokes. Nobody's talking about Louis Oosthuizen last year in the British Open was absolutely dominant, and then it reminds me of great tournaments like Norman collapsing in '96, 2004 Mickelson's first major is one of the best tournaments I've ever seen, and in '98 Masters seeing Jack Nicklaus at 58 in contention on the final day. Those stick out, and what I'm watching the first 2 days of this tournament have been absolutely amazing. The kid is 11 under. He's 6 strokes ahead, 36-hole record. He was 13 under going into the 18th hole yesterday, and he double bogeyed. So we'll see what he collapsed in the Masters. He's only 22 years old.
I remember that.
Mind you. And he was the first one 2 years ago to call out Tiger and said, I'll play Tiger anytime. He's not the best anymore. And, I mean, it was almost like he could see into the future knowing what was going to happen. But it's been a great tournament. I hate how ESPN isn't worth watching without Tiger in it. I think that's a crock. Golf is golf. It was here before Tiger. It'll be here long after Tiger. And I watch it. Golf, period. It doesn't matter who's in it. Tiger may help the ratings. It doesn't draw me to the TV. Whether he's there or not, I don't care. But it's just the U.S. Open is one of the hardest tournaments. It is pretty much. The scores are always low. 2-3 under, sometimes over. A couple years ago, Winged Foot, Jeff Ogilvy won. He was 6 over. It's just absolutely ridiculous how tough these courses are. And this kid is destroying Congressional and just killing it, 11 under. And I'm curious to see. I'd love to see him go real low, go by 18 to 20 under. But we'll see as the weight gets a little bit heavier. But what Rory McIlroy is doing for this year's U.S. Open, if you haven't tuned in, I really recommend you tune in and spend your Father's Day tomorrow watching what this kid's doing, because I think he's going to run away with it.
We just talked about, I think it's this month, the NBA draft.
Next week?
It's next week. Everyone knows Cavaliers have 2 of the top 4 picks. Now, I actually saw a rumor. I've been looking at it a lot. The Cavaliers are trying to get the top 2 picks to get the 2 players they want.
Irving and Derek Williams.
Everyone almost a surefire thing that Kyrie Irving's going to go first to the Cavs.
I disagree, but
Chad Ford's top 5. He has Kyrie Irving going first, Derek Williams going second to, I think the Jazz have the 2nd pick. I can't remember the top 5 now.
Man, I can't. I don't know if Utah's got the 2nd pick or not.
And he's got those 2 guys. Brandon Knight going 3rd.
Good player.
And he's got a couple of European guys. I haven't looked much at the European guys, but talent's not as big as it was this year as everyone thought it would be.
Well, a lot of guys stayed. The kid that Harrison Barnes from North Carolina comes out. He's a top player pick. That kid was a flat-out stud.
Jared Soldier stayed, who's going to be a top 5 pick. Terrence Jones stayed, who's going to be a lottery pick. There's got Perry Jones from Baylor stayed, and he was going to be a lottery pick. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys stayed, which is not really the trend.
Which is rare. Yeah. I mean, they said the impending lockout might have had something to do with it. So, just guys saying, no, I don't want to come out, and then have a lockout happen and kind of be screwed a little bit. It's like pitting in NASCAR and having a caution come out.
Timberwolves are in the top 5. It's always fun to watch. There's always.
Did you really have to say the Timberwolves are going to be in the top 5? They're always in the top 5.
It's always fun to watch the NBA draft because a lot of things happen, via 2008 when the Celtics went and picked up Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett.
Well, they got Garnett a little bit later, but Allen and Glenn Davis. A lot of people don't remember that. They picked up Glenn Davis that day, too.
Ironically enough, get the guy they drafted this year, Jeff Green.
Yeah.
But they built the team on draft day because they didn't get the pick they wanted.
Which they would have drafted Greg Oden and, my gosh. And who they might end up getting in free agency. It's a big rumor. He might be going to Boston, which would be really ironic that they would have Jeff Green and Greg Oden on their team.
But it's, just pay attention to the NBA draft. It's always fun to watch. It's always real short, 2 rounds. But there's always, watching the later rounds, there's always a guy. There's always a Monte Ellis. There's always a Rondo. Those late picks.
Second round, Gilbert Arenas was a second round draft pick, and he was phenomenal. And I'll tell you, the NBA, there's more players in the NBA draft that were great in college that drop, that don't even get drafted. And also, there's more busts in the NBA draft of any draft in professional sports.
Michael Olowokandi.
So it's always good to watch, just to say, wow, this guy is going to be great, or this guy
For example,
sucks.
you can look at last year's draft board and you'd be like, who is that guy?
Last year was a weak draft. John Wall played well. He wasn't at with Derrick Rose level. Yeah,
real weak draft.
But it was
outside of Wall,
and Cousins still had his ups and downs.
Yeah,
but he played solid.
And then Landry Fields played good first half of the season, but after that,
Landry Fields is a good player.
There wasn't much rookies where you're like, oh, again, we don't consider Blake Griffin a rookie. He was drafted in 2009, but
Blake Griffin. But yeah, that's the NBA draft is another big one that's coming up. But I mean, there's just so much going on. Like I said, the College World Series is always exciting. If you've never watched it, I really recommend tuning in because the games are always high drama, and with that ping of the aluminum bat, it takes away from the beauty of a wooden bat, but there's always drama when you can hit the ball in the park. And
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon's coming up. We talked about Mahmoud and Eisner playing after they played
138 set.
3 days over 3 days last year. They're talking about, how ironic that it's a conspiracy, whatever, if it's going to put people in the seats. That's a big thing coming up. This is a great time of the year. You got the British Open coming up next month. All kinds of stuff coming up. Again, people tune in, and Rob and Jacob 71 at yahoo.com. I'm Rob Falcon 71 at Twitter.
JFALC 23.
JFalc 23.
Yeah.
At Twitter also, and tune in, give us feedback. I didn't like last week's show. Apparently, you guys didn't either. Ratings were a little down. Not ratings, but viewings were a little down. But tune in. We'll go 3 or 4 segments sometimes. We get feedback from you. That's what we like to talk about, really, because what we like to talk about is what you guys want to hear about. We can sit here and talk sports. That's what we do anyway. But, let us know what you want to hear, or let us know what you think. And
Nationals won 7 in a row.
We always try the Washington Nationals. I'm telling you. Speaking of rivalries, I could see in a couple of years that Orioles and Nationals being a pretty testy rivalry as you come into interleague, and possibly teams that could be playing later on in the year, because the Orioles have a nice young nucleus, and the Nationals, with Bryce Harper coming up, Strasburg will be coming back next year.
I'm telling you, they got talent. Espinosa Lisa has 12 home runs and no one's talking about it.
They're gonna be a good squad, and they got a heck of a nice ballpark out there too.
So first place Cardinals. Well, they were first before
the Brewers are. The Brewers.
Watch out for the Nationals. Won 7 in a row.
And watch out for the Pirates. They're my sentimental team. They were 500. They're playing very well too, and they have young talent. Just had the first pick in the draft, Garrett Cole out of UCLA. So they constantly being as bad as they've been over the years. They have a lot of picks that they've had coming through their system. And so watch out for the Pirates. Watch out for a lot of the teams that you're not used to seeing. And hopefully baseball gets it right and gets a hard cap. So teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox and even the Dodgers, can't just throw money people's way because they have deep pocketbooks. The Dodgers are a mess right now anyway. But
predicted a no-hitter. I don't know who, but next time we have a show, I bet it'll be a no-hitter.
Next time we have a show. We'll be doing it every Saturday now because Jacob has the weekends off. And aside from Jeff Gordon, got a second win of the year. Had to give him props there. No wins yet for Dale Jr., you fans out there. But anyway, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Again, tune into the U.S. Open. Watch this kid right here. He's going to break some records. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And we'll see you next week.